Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are approaching a brand new year. A lot of us are looking for change, and maybe that change can come within your living or workspace. Think about this. Do you come home from work every day, open up the door, and say to yourself, this feels great. I am home. I'm so happy to be here. Or is it just, this is where I am. It's okay. It should be the other way around, where you just feel like this is another extension of you being in your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom. Let's change that up and give you the luxury look. It's possible to get that done. She is an accomplished interior designer with decades of experience. I want to say at least 35 years. And she joins us today from her company, which is called theluxurylook.com. Kristine Vowles is on the program. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. Loving your website. Really got, the colors. Of course, you're an interior designer, so it should look that way, and it does. And just even the portfolio, some of the projects you've done, I detect in you, Kristine, you got like massive passion for what you do. Would you say it?
I do. I always knew that I was either going to sell, design, or build homes, and I've been able to do that since the 80s. So I'm very grateful to have been able to stay in the space that I always wanted to stay in.
So normally, when I first meet somebody here, we take a little bit of time. We talk about what they do, and we get into how they got into what they're doing. I have to go right to that. Now, you said you always knew that you were going to do some kind of design, building, interior design. How did you know when you were a little girl? Were you playing house? What were you doing?
Yes, actually, my grandmother had this massive patio on her backyard, and my grandparents would donate things to my little house that I would create. And so I had a living room with outdoor lighting, and I had kitchens, and all my friends would come over and we would literally play house in a house that I put together in the backyard. When my mother would take me with her to go visit her friends while they're outside by the pool enjoying themselves, I would rearrange their china cabinets or their kitchen cabinets, and they'd come back in and their living rooms are completely different. I'd come in out sometimes and ask if I could have help moving something because I was a very tiny little girl. And they're
Mm.
like, move something? And then her friends are just like, you can bring her over anytime you want. We'll just put her loose in this one room and just let her go. And in
Mm.
high school, if I got bored in a class, I started drawing out what a pillow would look like and bedding designs. And so I
Wow.
have always leaned towards space.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. And the reason I even asked that, and it's a kind of a personal reason, I knew I wanted to be on the radio since I was a little kid. So it's rare to find, and this is what people tell me, it's rare to know as a kid that's what you wanted to
Mhm.
do.
Yes.
Um, and I don't know it any other way. So I can't relate to somebody's, going through school and we're like, I'm not really sure what I want to do. I can't relate. It's just, I just, that's not what I know. And it sounds like that's kind of you. Like you
Mhm.
knew from an early age that, yeah, some shape, way, and form, you're going to be doing what you're doing today.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
By the time I was 24 years old, I graduated from high school early. I went to business management school, college for business management. And then I went right in and got my real estate license. And before I was done with my real estate license, I had already started design school. So at 24, I had done all three, finished all my schooling. And so
Wow.
I
Wow.
was
That's
locking it
crazy.
down.
And
It
by
was
24, I was already working at the second radio station and the biggest one in the New York area. I got lucky. I got a job there. I wasn't even 18. Um, wow.
awesome.
Interesting. Um, what would you say is I hate to label things, but it gives you insight into somebody. And if somebody were to ask you to redesign their home, it's what they want. But
Yes.
what would you say your personal design style is? Yeah, could you define it?
So I get asked that a lot. Um, Honestly, I don't have one. I know I got asked this the other night in an event I was on, a panel discussion, and I like so many different design styles. It's really hard to narrow it down. I just redid a room here in my house and I had to bring my team in and I just gave them carte blanche to figure it out for me because I knew what I wanted, but I felt like maybe I'm making a mistake. It's
Hmm.
hard to do your own space
You're too
sometimes.
you're too close to it. Yeah.
Yes. And so what they picked was exactly what my first choice was. But we're now we just got asked a couple days ago to design an 800-year-old English farmhouse in England. And we were on a Zoom call this morning and we're looking at all of our inspiration. It's like we haven't done anything like this. It's like this will be the first time we get to merge fabrics with birds on it with stripes and all these different patterns that we are not used to. And we're like, this is going to be fun. We get to do something we haven't done. I do like clean lines. Um, I like the color combinations that I lean to are the whites, blacks, moss greens, metallics, coppers,
Mm.
black. I just kind of like that whole look and feel. Like my office is, black, gold, and white.
Yep.
Um, My studio's entirely different color. So we went in the studio, we went with grays, we went with gold and silver metallic um, elements, and then we brought in a little blues and little greens. So we went with gray. I don't have any gray in my house. Um, but it's just, I don't know. I love so many different styles. And when I get to work in so many different styles with our clients, which is great, but I can't tell you what my favorite is. I love Moroccan. I love that design, but I also like contemporary. So I don't know.
Hmm.
It's I
Does it
do mix a
change?
lot.
Is it like a moving target for you?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like you're reading my mind. First you talk about you knew what you wanted to do from an early age, and that was me. And then you mentioned working with somebody in England, which I wanted to get to that. You can work with anybody anywhere virtually, right?
I do. Yes.
Hmm.
So how we're gonna do, so we have some projects coming online this year in Belize, which I'm sorry, somebody has to do it. So if I have to go to Belize, I'm sorry, I'll take that hit for the team.
Yeah.
Um,
We have nobody else that wants to go, so you might as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
no, I'll,
Yeah.
I'll I'll go there and help them out. We're gonna do overwater bungalows. So can't wait to do that. So I'm getting into the
Like,
Caribbean style.
seriously?
Yes, yes.
What the hell am I doing talking into a
Oh
microphone?
my gosh, it's gonna be awesome. So
And that's
yes,
I want to share with you. That is my thing. Caribbean inspiration. I love
yes.
it. My bedroom is darker Caribbean looking furniture with whitewash floor and just the light and bright. I love that. I just love that look. And I have this in my bedroom, this big round window and the sun shines in first thing in the morning and it's
Oh,
like being there.
that
Yeah.
sounds heaven on earth.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yes,
Now, the rest of my place, I'm not a fan of. I'm going to tell you straight out. I need work there, but
we can
bedroom,
help you.
I know. Bedroom, I'm kind of okay with. I'm sure I could do, you know, some nuances here and there. I
Mhm.
can't believe you go from country farmhouse in England to bungalows over the water in Belize.
Yes. Well,
Wow.
I just bought the URL, the Curated Caribbean. And
Wow.
we're creating our own company scent we have our own company scent that we here have in the United States, but we thought, well, we don't want to take that to the Caribbean. So the team's like, oh, good, we got to create a new scent and it's going to be, for the ocean. And so we're really looking forward to that. We've really, um, enjoyed the process of getting to that point. When you go to my website, that video that pops up, it's a buying trip that I took one of our clients. He owns 8 islands in the Caribbean. And we took him on a buying trip to the world market. And we created what I consider a whole new design style for the Caribbean. And he fell in love. He thought it was going to be a nightmare, a single guy coming and looking at 4,000 stores. And he said it was the best experience he ever had. But we filmed it behind the scenes. We got his permission ahead of time because he didn't know if cameras were going to follow us around. But I wanted to capture it because most people, when I think about going on a buying trip with a designer, you think it's with a bunch of women. But, this was the one we were going to do with just a single man and his entourage.
Wow.
And I thought, if this goes well, I can pull off any other buying trip because this could be a total nightmare. And it was fabulous. We purchased every single thing for him in 2.5 days.
Wow. By the way, I just brought up the video. I want to be him. I want
Um,
to like, oh my gosh, just wow. The biggest challenge of this entire buying experience, so many choices. Like
yes.
just wow.
We chose 12 stores. So we created a design package for him before he got there. Out of the 4,000 stores, which in multiple buildings all around that we took him to, we had 12 to take him to. And he said that you nailed it. Every single store we took him to was for the outdoor, he wanted a rooftop. He was extending his home on the water to the rooftop. So we wanted to create something that was like outdoor living, but also could hold up to the sun,
Sure.
hurricanes. So we took him to all those stores that were there. He wanted unique lighting, so we had the lighting stores. We even took him to kitchen showrooms. So it was really, he says, I've never accomplished so much in such a short period of time.
Mm.
And he says, not 1 minute was wasted. And that just really made me feel good that we did that for him. He's not a guy that you want to waste his time. So
Yeah.
if you waste his time, he's out. And I thought, this is a one-shot deal. We make one mistake on this one and he's
Yeah.
done.
And you had to
And
make it fun too.
we had a blast. We had
Mm.
so much fun. Yeah,
So
it
this,
was.
I want to, is this a thing? So this is where I go. Um, House I sold a year and change ago, and I'm in between houses. It's just like I'm in the New York metro suburb. Not, not,
Nice.
yeah, but not the right time to buy a house. It's like they're way jacked up. It's just I'm waiting for the right moment. Um, I renovated my backyard in this house. I mean, completely, and made it like a tropical resort. Really did. Like it had, you name it, it had that look and that feel. And my mentality was hotel resort. That's what I'm going to make it like. I would take little pieces of someplace I've been. Yeah, that was a cool idea. I like that idea. I like that idea. Is that a good mindset overall in a home to think, that you want it to feel like you're away, that excitement? Is that something, or am I just all over the place here?
No, we finished a house last year where the clients said, we have a vision of our 5 favorite hotels that we go and visit around the world. And they showed us different snippets of that. So we studied those hotels. I even went and visited a few of them. And I'm like, okay, I said, so you want us to give you that look and feel? And they said, yeah. So we created an entire look for them. And I mean, we literally had everything sourced and picked for them in a matter of 2 months. And they call each room in their house the names of the hotels that they
Oh,
went to.
cool.
But yes, in the one we just finished and just photographed probably about 2 weeks ago, all she said is, I want to feel like a 5-star hotel. And that's how he lives. He's like, his house in Chicago is very eclectic, but it is exquisite. This one, he wanted to be a nice, relaxed, comfortable, but yet a 5-star experience because he knew more people would come visit with him in Arizona than in Chicago. So he's like, everyone's going to come here to see me. So I want this house to feel like they're at they have their own private space. And so we did. I said, give us your favorite places you've stayed. And so we duplicated that in his own home. And everyone
Mm,
says, did you do a hotel? And it's like, no, that was a home. So
yeah. Yeah.
that
I
was
mean,
for
some
him.
people, they might hear this and say, ah, I would never want to feel like it. I want it to feel like home. But
Right.
there's just something about I feel that hotel feel. Like I'll
Mhm.
walk into a I've seen some bathrooms, residential bathrooms that remind me of hotels where, the trend, and I think it starts in a hotel, like the open, almost like an open
Yeah.
concept where you walk in to take a shower, with the glass door, that kind of
Mhm.
vibe there. And then I started seeing that, move on to homes. Let's look at, call it trends. What colors are big now?
So in 2025, I think you're going to start seeing as more of the moody colors. It's going to be, you're going to see creams, browns. Browns are coming back, all
Hmm.
different colors from like the coppers to warm browns to dark browns.
Funny you should say that. Just want to interject in here. Just announced Pantone, the color people.
Yes.
Their number one color, or the top color for 2025, it's a brown tone. It's I believe mocha something. I can't remember the exact name, but yeah, to your point.
Yes. Well, and I also serve on the advisory board for Sherwin-Williams.
Oh
So we
wow.
get to work on the colors of the year. So it's kind of a fun project. Um,
Hmm.
so I was looking up for a client the other day what some of the trends are going to be, and wellness. Wellness, that people want more wellness features in their home where it
For sure.
feels a place where they can go and just check out but not have to leave their home to do so.
Hmm.
Lighting's going to be a big thing this year. Unique lighting, so incorporating some really unique pieces, lights that are kind of an impact piece in your space.
Yeah.
And then let me think what else are some of the other trends. Oh, so textures. So textures was a really big thing this last year. And now what's coming back in is they're bringing in more ceramics and um, the mud and clay type ceramics, so much bigger and bulkier ceramics are coming in.
Wow.
So that's going to be a thing. They're calling it the earth tones for this year.
Okay.
And we're going back to classic furniture. So it's going back to, I want to say more like a retro look, but with not busy patterns and not a lot of busy lines. So they're really going back in time. Styles last for so long and then they come back in a
Hmm.
different way. They just
Hmm.
like the bell bottoms, you see that, and
Oh,
sometimes you're
they're
just
back. There used to
like,
be
back.
skinny jeans, and right now, if you're wearing skinny jeans, people who are younger, Generation Z, be like, "Well, look at you." I don't care. I like skinny jeans, but that's just me. Um, it's funny. You talk about brown. Like if you told me, Christine, I highly suggest you put brown here, brown there, I'd be like, "Nah, I don't really want to." But when I think back to 2 houses ago, the one before the last, it was already painted, and I liked the colors. And guess what was in the kitchen? A brown, and loved it. I don't know what it was, but it felt warm and
Mhm.
homey, and it fit with the cabinets and the countertop. And I had very light shades of brown in the last house, like sort of like a little more than a cream color,
Mhm.
but it was still those brown tones that were there. Interesting. Hmm.
But
What
I
else
have,
is what else is trending right now for 2025?
um, 2025, oh, nature. So bringing in a lot of live trees. So in various forms. So with the ceilings being so high now, we can actually bring in large trees. So that's going to be very popular coming up. And a focus on comfort. People want to have a lot of comfort. So I think that, the houses that we're working on right now, the clients will spend a little extra on the furniture to make it last. Um, this, I don't want to offend anybody, but it seems like the last few years we've been doing a lot of what I call Instagram houses where they're really pretty for your photo shoot but they don't last long for comfort. I mean, after you've worn them out after a while.
You are reading my mind because when I moved into my place current, I was in a rush. So I just like, all right, let me get that couch up. It's great. And now I look back and it's only been, a year and a half or whatever. I hardly ever use that couch. Like I'll lay on it. Maybe I don't really watch a lot of TV, have a couple of guests over. I am not, and it wasn't expensive. It was like reasonably priced. We'll call it that. I am not kidding when I tell you it's showing signs of wear.
Mhm.
And I'm not even talking about the two cats I have, which love to use it as a scratching post. If I was intentional and thought about that, I might have gotten a fabric that is more tightly woven so they can't really get into it. You know
Yes,
more about that. But to your
yes,
point, you really do get what you pay for. It's the truth.
yes. So they want to keep the furniture for longer periods of time. And so we've had a couple clients who are just like, I don't care if this lasts for a couple of years, I'm fine. Now it's shifting. Now it's like, okay, well, let's spend our money in, stronger furniture. I mean, the build cycle, the springs and the fabrics.
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of, they come out with Krypton's come out with some great fabrics where you really can spill wine on it and just wipe it up. And
Wow.
I mean, people just want that because, now you got the grandkids coming over. So it's really shifting towards that for more comfort in your dining chairs. People want to be able to sit at the table a lot longer than just having a quick meal. They want to hang there. So we're now sourcing dining chairs that you can sit there and hang for a while without killing your back. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of different things. And like the gentleman that we took on the buying trip, he's super tall. I think you could tell that he was like a really tall man. He has never been fitted for a sofa. And I know it sounds crazy. You can be fitted for a sofa and chairs. So people don't realize that when you go to a furniture store,
Oh,
that they come in different depths. So you don't want the sofa to hit past your kneecap or before your kneecap because then it puts a lot of strain on your back and your knees. So you'll find that you're not going to sit there for very long and you'll never sit through a movie,
wow.
watching it. So
Wow.
when we had him fitted, I mean, I almost brought the man to tears. He was sitting there and he says, when you're tall like this, you always have issues with your knees and your back. And he said, this is the most comfortable thing I've ever had. He goes, at my stage of life, I should have known about this. And it doesn't cost more. That's the whole thing. It's like everyone's like, oh yeah, but I can't afford you to go do that. There's
Had
it's
no
not
idea.
an extra cost. It's not
Had
like really custom. It
My
comes that
gosh.
way.
Yeah. And what do we do? We're just about out of time. I could keep going. Most people just do the butt test, sit down. Yeah, it's kind of squishy. It's comfortable. All right. Yeah. You haven't sat there for, a 2 hour movie. So,
No.
wow. 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 I learned so much. I am excited for you in the things that not only you've accomplished in 3.5+ decades, but you're not stopping. You're
Mhm.
moving and to really cool stuff. Wow. Kristine, how does somebody connect with you if they're looking, and again, we demonstrated you can do this anywhere on the planet. What's the best way to find you?
They can check out our portfolio on www.theluxurylook.com. My email is Kristine with a K at theluxurylook.com. And we would love to talk and chat with people. Sometimes we've done a lot over Zoom. We've done a lot of, especially during COVID, we did a lot of designing over Zoom. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I just as an example, I could get personal and show you pictures of my bedroom and what
absolutely.
you would do. And this is gonna final thought here. I just did this to my bedroom and it's so embarrassing. But in lighting, we'll get to that someday in lighting. I had hi-hats in there. It's all right. Doesn't really feel homey. I had two table lamps in my office here. I'm in an office building, and they have Caribbean shades on them. And they came from the other house. I brought them here because I needed lamps for a project and they were in the corner. I brought them home, put them on my nightstand. I'm in love. What a look. I forgot what lamps look like. I know it's crazy, but I'm not a designer. That's where you probably look at it and say, Steve, you need some table lamps on your nightstands. It's going to make a big difference. And sure enough, little things like that, the big stuff, you're there. Kristine, thank you so much for being here today. Lots to talk about next time we get together.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.